I want you to imagine an old photograph, a group of men in uniforms standing still, captured by time. And among them, there I am. Not by accident, not by chance. I am there because I lived a life that almost disappeared. A life remembered only because others refused to let it be erased. My name is Lucy Higgs Nichols. I was born enslaved in Tennessee, in a country divided not only by borders, but by chains. Some you could see, others you could not. From the very beginning, my life was not considered my own. I had no rights, no freedom, and no promise that my name would ever be remembered. I was property, a life the world did not expect to last, let alone be told. When the war began, everything changed. The country broke apart. Armies marched. Families were torn from one another. Violence became part of daily life. But inside that chaos, I saw something else. Small openings where escape became possible. And one day, I made a decision. I ran. I don't know how history remembers that moment because there are no papers that describe it. No records that tell you how far I walked, who helped me, or what dangers I faced. Those details were never written down, but I remember the fear. I remember the uncertainty, and I remember where my journey ended. I reached the camp of the 23rd Indiana Volunteer Infantry Regiment. For the soldiers, it was just another stop in a long and brutal war. For me, it was the first place where I was not owned. I could have been turned away. I could have been ignored. I could have disappeared again. But I stayed. I stayed with the regiment for the entire war. I did not carry a weapon, but I carried the wounded. I cleaned injuries, comforted the sick, and sat beside men who believed they would not see another sunrise. I marched when they marched. I endured hunger, exhaustion, and fear alongside them. I wore no uniform. I was paid nothing. My name was written on no official list, but I was there, every single day. Over time, I became more than a helper. In a world filled with loss, I became something familiar, something steady. The soldiers began to call me Aunt Lucy. It wasn't a rank. It wasn't given by the army. It was given by the heart. When the war ended, everyone went their separate ways. I traveled north with some of the men and eventually settled in Indiana. I worked for a few of the veterans, lived quietly, and stayed far from the stories history chose to tell. Life moved on. Years passed, decades passed. In 1892, I heard that Congress had approved pensions for women who served as nurses during the war. For the first time, I thought perhaps my service would finally be acknowledged. Not with praise, just with fairness. So I applied. The answer came back quickly. Denied. They said there were no records, no proof that I had ever served. On paper, I had never been there. The war I survived did not remember me. Once again, my life was nearly erased, not by violence, but by silence. But the men I served did not forget. 55 veterans of the 23rd Indiana Regiment came forward. They signed their names to a petition and sent it to Congress. They said I had been there, that I had served as a nurse, that I had marched with them, cared for them, and stood beside them when no one else would. Their memories spoke where the records did not, and this time, they were heard. My pension was approved, not because someone found a document, but because people stood up and said, "We remember her." In 1898, at a reunion of the regiment in Indiana, a photograph was taken. I stood among the men, older now, but still present. That image became one of the few proofs that I existed. Later, I was granted honorary membership in the Grand Army of the Republic. I was the only woman to ever receive that honor, not because of policy, but because of respect. I died in 1915. I was buried in New Albany, Indiana, in a simple grave. There were no monuments built in my name, no grand memorials. but I was laid to rest with military honors, a final acknowledgement of a life that had served without ever being properly recorded. If my story tells you anything, let it be this: not every life is written down. Not every contribution is documented, and justice does not always arrive on time. Sometimes memory is stronger than paper. Sometimes a life survives because others refuse to forget it. They said, "She was there. She mattered." And as long as my story is told, I remain a life once lived.